Sewing swimwear might seem intimidating, but it's actually one of the most rewarding garments you'll ever make for yourself. If you've been frustrated by store-bought swimsuits that never quite fit right, or disappointed by poor quality that falls apart after one season, this video will change all that. By learning these 5 key secrets, you'll create swimwear that fits your unique body perfectly, stays put when swimming, and gives you incredible confidence, instead of ending up with a saggy, see-through suit that constantly needs adjusting. Secret number 1, always choose 4-way stretch for one-piece suits. The foundation of great swimwear is choosing the right fabric, and this is where I see so many beginners go wrong. Swimwear patterns are drafted with negative ease, which means the finished measurements are actually smaller than your body. This helps the suit hug your curves and stay in place, but it requires fabric with excellent stretch and recovery. There are 2 types of stretch fabric you'll encounter in your swimwear journey. 2-way stretch fabric only stretches horizontally from selvage to selvage, but doesn't offer much vertical stretch. While this can sometimes work for simple bikini tops or bottoms, if you try to use it for a one-piece, you'll learn the hard way how unsuitable it is. Think major wedgies and being rendered incapable of bending over. 4-way stretch fabric stretches both horizontally and vertically, making it ideal for all swimwear. I almost exclusively use 4-way stretch now. It's just more forgiving and comfortable, especially when you're moving around. When I made my first 2-piece suit, I specifically chose a 4-way stretch fabric, even though it wasn't a one-piece. That vertical stretch made the high-waisted bottom so much more comfortable when sitting down. Beyond stretch direction, look for fabrics that are mostly nylon, around 80 to 90%, with significant amount of lycra or spandex, 10 to 20%. Natural fibers like cotton absorb water and literally drag you down in the pool. If you've ever been thrown into a pool while wearing clothes, you know that those clothes can get heavy. Before cutting into your fabric, always perform these 4 essential tests on swatches. First, the water test. Soak the fabric in water. Does the color bleed? If so, keep looking. Second, the stretch test. Make sure it's truly 4-way stretch if that's what your pattern requires. Third, the print test. If the fabric is printed, check if the pattern cracks or distorts drastically when stretched. And finally, the opacity test. Does the fabric become see-through when wet or stretched? This is especially important for lighter colors. My go-to sources for quality swimwear fabric are Spandex House, Spandex World, and the Fabric Fairy. Trust me, investing in good quality fabric makes all the difference in the final result. Secret number 2. Use heavier lining for light-colored suits. Nothing ruins beach confidence faster than realizing your light-colored swimsuit becomes see-through when wet. This is where strategic lining choices make all the difference. Swimwear lining usually has a similar fiber content to your main fabric, with nylon and spandex blends being the most common, but they do come in varying weights and opacity levels. Lightweight linings work well if your main fabric is already stable and opaque, like dark colors or heavy prints. These feel less bulky and they dry faster. Substantial linings add compression and extra opacity. Always choose these when using light colors like white or pastels, fabrics that become semi-transparent when stretched, or in areas where you want more support and shaping. You can actually mix and match lining weights in different areas of your swimsuit. For instance, I often use more substantial lining in the bust and bottoms, but lighter lining elsewhere for comfort and flexibility. When purchasing lining online, don't just go by the product photos. Read the description carefully for weight information, and if possible, order swatches first. Holding the lining against your main fabric in natural light can reveal potential transparency issues before you commit to cutting. Remember that good lining doesn't just prevent embarrassing see-through situations. It also adds structure and support that helps your swimsuit look and feel more luxurious. Secret number 3, stabilize high-stress seams with internal elastic. The secret to swimwear that stays in place and lasts season after season isn't just in the outer construction, it's in the internal reinforcement techniques most people never see. Adding elastic to key seams prevents stretching out over time and provides crucial support in high-stress areas. This technique made the biggest difference in the longevity of my swimwear projects. Here's where to add internal elastic and why. Underbust seams add support and lift, especially important for larger cup sizes. For example, adding elastic in an underbust seam can provide gentle lift without the bulk of underwires. Shoulder straps benefit tremendously from internal elastic. It prevents straps from stretching out and slipping down over time. Nothing is worse than constantly pulling up your straps at the beach. Center back seams and bottoms help the suit hug your curves and prevent the dreaded saggy bottom after swimming. Here's exactly how to add internal elastic to a seam. First, sew your seam using a serger or zigzag stitch. Next, cut elastic slightly shorter than the finished seam length. About 10% shorter works well. Then clip the elastic to the seam allowance, stretching it to match the fabric length. Attach it using a zigzag stitch, stretching evenly as you sew. I'll talk a little bit more about my favorite stitch for this later in this video. The elastic should pull the seam in slightly, creating a subtle shaping effect. This invisible reinforcement makes your swimsuit so much more supportive without changing its appearance from the outside. I now add internal elastic to every swimsuit I make, even when the pattern doesn't specifically call for it. Let me show you a swimsuit with some strategic reinforcement from elastic. See how this one with the internal elastic hugs the body securely? That's going to translate to better fit and longer wear over time. By the way, if you'd like to try out these secrets while making an adorable two-piece swimsuit, be sure to check out our class, How to Sew a Two-Piece Swimsuit. We walk you through each step of sewing the Maggie swimsuit, including what to look for in fabric and notions, how to insert elastic, and each step of construction in action. I'll put a link below if you're interested. Secret number 4, cut printed fabric in a single layer for perfect pattern placement. Nothing ruins a beautiful swimsuit faster than an unfortunately placed print motif. This secret has saved me from some really awkward situations. When I made a floral print swimsuit years ago, I took extra time to strategically place each pattern piece on the fabric. Because swimwear is worn so close to the body and prints are sometimes quite bold, this can really change the entire look of your suit. Always cut printed fabric for swimsuits in a single layer, not folded, so you can control exactly where each motif will appear. Here's my strategic approach to print placement. For bottoms, avoid placing large motifs directly over the crotch area, center symmetrical prints for a balanced look, and for directional prints, make sure they're oriented correctly. Nobody wants upside down flowers. For tops, place any interesting parts of the print on the center front, be mindful of where flowers, faces, or other distinct motifs will land, and ensure patterns align at center front seams. For one-piece suits, look at the entire suit as a canvas and plan accordingly. Consider elongating motifs that flow from top to bottom and avoid cutting bold patterns at unflattering body points. When working with stripes or geometric patterns, spend extra time matching patterns across seams. This attention to detail elevates your homemade swimwear to a professional level. Here's my process. First, lay out all pattern pieces before cutting anything. Take photos of your layout to reference later. Use plenty of pattern weights to hold things in place. Use a rotary cutter for clean, precise cuts, and cut notches outward rather than inward to avoid weakening the fabric. This careful cutting approach takes a bit more time, but the results are so worth it. No more swimsuits with awkwardly placed flowers or faces. I learned this lesson when I made a tropical print suit and didn't pay attention to placement. I ended up with a large hibiscus flower right on the center of a particular area. It was quite the conversation starter, but not in the way I hoped. Secret number 5, master the 3-step zigzag for elastic that lasts. The difference between swimwear that lasts one season versus many years often comes down to one thing: how you attach the elastic. This was a game changer for me. While many patterns recommend a regular zigzag stitch for top stitching elastic, I've found that the 3-step zigzag, sometimes called a multi-step zigzag, creates a much more durable finish that can withstand repeated stretching, sun exposure, and chlorine. The 3-step zigzag creates 3 small stitches for every zigzag, distributing tension more evenly across the elastic and fabric. This prevents the dreaded pop stitches that can happen with regular zigzags, especially around leg openings or armholes where the elastic gets stretched frequently. Here's my foolproof method for applying elastic with a 3-step zigzag. Start by clipping the elastic to the wrong side of the raw edge, evenly distributing the fabric along the elastic. I mark quarter points on both the elastic and fabric edge for even distribution. Use a serger or a wide and short zigzag stitch to initially attach the elastic and fabric together. Turn the elastic to the wrong side of the garment. Switch your machine to a 3-step zigzag stitch. Check your manual if you're not sure which one this is on your machine. Top stitch everything in place using the 3-step zigzag, stretching gently and evenly as you sew. I set my 3-step zigzag to about a 5mm width and a 1.5mm length for the perfect elastic finish. This setting provides enough stretch while still looking neat and professional. The 3-step zigzag also lays flatter against the skin, which means more comfort when wearing your suit. No more elastic edges that dig in or create marks. Let me show you the difference between regular zigzag and 3-step zigzag after washing and wearing. See how the regular zigzag has some pop stitches already while the 3-step zigzag remains intact? That's the durability difference I'm talking about. Maybe you're wondering whether you need a serger to sew a swimsuit. You can absolutely make a swimsuit without one, but they do help. In my Serger Secrets video, I break down everything that makes beginners nervous about these powerful machines and show you exactly how to create perfect seams without frustration or wasted fabric. Watch this video next to learn how a serger will revolutionize all your swimwear projects.